Hey guys, welcome in. It's time for 30 books in 30 weeks. I'm Marcy Batiste. I welcome you as you come in. I welcome you to invite some others in with you to join in on the conversation or to share in the information. Share the video out. But we are talking about the language of letting go. We're on week 10 out of 30. For those of you who may be joining in for the very first time, maybe aren't familiar with me or familiar with the 30 books in 30 weeks personal development reading challenge, allow me to introduce myself. Hey David, my name is Marcy Batiste. I'm a public speaker, an author, and a reality-based success and recovery trainer. So what does that mean? It means I operate in the space of reality with myself, with my clients, with my family, in all relationship aspects. And I have a training company called Bankable Success Advisors where I work with businesses and individuals to help them optimize their personal and professional investments, whether it's time, energy, finance, emotion. The key thing is curing that emotional bankruptcy that so many of us walk around with. And the subject of letting go, which we've been talking about this week, is a big part of that. What's going on, Chris? Hey, David. Thank you. So the language of letting go, and letting go is a big stumbling block for a lot of people. It's a big roadblock to healing. It's a big roadblock to success, and definitely to recovery from past pains. And so I titled this, Don't Fall Prey to the Manipulators. And I want to talk about the people who we allow in our lives who are manipulators. And I want to talk a little bit about manipulation in various forms and kind of how it comes to be that way. In some respects, we teach people how to manipulate. We learn that as infants, how to manipulate. So I think I liken it to toddlers. Toddlers are some of the best manipulators on the planet. They go for what they want, no holds barred. They'll try every tactic. And once they know what works, what's going on, Philip? Once they know what works, they hone in on it. They're very consistent. They're very methodical about it. And think about when you have a baby and the baby cries, we pick the baby up. Baby cries, we pick the baby up. So we begin training that thought process in infancy. When this happens, then this is going to be the result. And so once someone finds a predictable pattern in your behavior, that doesn't change as an adult. And so we go through life. I always say we teach people how to be in relation with us, right? Well, we teach people how to be in relation with us in manipulative ways as well. We co-sign the manipulation. Hey, Thomas, thanks for joining. We co-sign the manipulation, not intentionally, not because it's okay. It's not okay oftentimes. But once we get in this cycle with people, we oftentimes don't know how to get out of it. And part of letting go is making sure that you don't fall prey to the manipulation. You have to be able to recognize when you're being manipulated. And sometimes you'll know why, sometimes you won't always know why. Yes, we definitely teach people how to treat us. Ashita, thank you. You have to be able to recognize when someone's manipulating you. In order to decide, I always say you have to respond in an educated fashion, right? So you have to have your facts. You got to get the facts straight. You have to be able to, more importantly, know what that relationship means to you. Understand, is this something that I'm willing to walk away from? Is this a teachable moment where I can teach them to be in relation with me in a different way? And once you recognize that there are certain people in your lives that are manipulators, they might want you for money. They might want you for things that you can do for them. They might want you for your connections. They might want you for their emotional support. Oftentimes there are a lot of people that we have in our lives that manipulate simply because they're emotional hijackers. So their whole thing is, let me dump all of my stuff on you so I don't have to deal with it. Let me put it in your lap. Let you find a solution for my problems. Yes, intellectual energy. That's, oh yes, that's it. And so, but how to channel that intellectual energy, right? You can't just throw it around willy-nilly and expect to get the results that you want. And so when you're dealing with manipulators, you have to be very, very strategic. And when we talked earlier on in this series about the importance of boundaries and setting healthy personal boundaries, right? And when you see people infringe on those boundaries, identifying, oh, this is bigger than just not respecting the boundaries. This person is intentionally trying to manipulate me. And some people manipulate unintentionally, but it's irrelevant. When you understand that you're being manipulated, and like I said, these emotional hijackers, these people that just emotionally, they'll come at you with the most random stuff. It'll be unexpected. You might not have any clue. Like, where are you even coming? Like, why are you even coming at me like this? But that's part of the thing, is you don't get hung up in the why. What's going on, Miles? You don't get hung up in the why. The why is irrelevant. And that's that reality-based living, right? Understanding you don't have to know why people do stuff. It doesn't matter. The facts are, what are they doing? How does it impact you? And what would you like to see different? And then you have to move it into that space of where you want it to go. You have to, that's how you reclaim the power. That's how you reclaim control. But oftentimes when we talk about the language, hey Danielle, miss you sissy. When we talk about the language of letting go, it's hard for people to let go, particularly when they've been manipulated by people. Because manipulation can be like, almost like a frame of brainwashing. People can get you to do some pretty powerful things if they can get you to believe. And so we've talked about the power of the mindset in some of the other books that we worked on this year so far. Like I said, we're in week 10 now. So we've covered some ground, we've covered some materials, but that letting go piece, when you've been manipulated by someone for so long, or you've been in a relationship with someone who is very controlling, very manipulative. I know for me in my domestic violence experience, the one that was psychologically abusive and emotionally abusive for me was a narcissist. Narcissists are master manipulators. And the crazy thing is they're so hard to spot. They're so hard to identify until you know what the characteristics of a narcissist looks like. Because they're charismatic people. People genuinely like them. People are genuinely drawn to them. But when they hone in on a target and they decide this is the person that I'm going to manipulate, it's very, very difficult once you kind of get embedded into that process with them to get yourself out until you can recognize that you're being manipulated. So when we talk about letting things go, being able to walk away, if you've been in a situation where your relationship with someone who manipulates you, it's very hard to let go. It's very hard to walk away because they're going to constantly convince you that this relationship, although it's to your detriment, they're going to convince you that it's to your benefit. And you have to be able to see the difference. You have to be able to tell the difference. And so when we talk about letting go, being able to identify what you want out of relationships, being able to identify when you're being manipulated, when you're falling for it. But the biggest thing is being able to set personal boundaries that allow you to say, you know what? That's not how I want to be treated. And then standing your ground and refusing to be treated that way. Because I think somebody just posted, we teach people how to treat us. There's a saying, we teach people how to treat us by what we will accept from them. Right? So when you accept it, it's almost like co-signing someone else's bad behavior against you. It's like co-signing the violation. Well, when you continue to do that, then the manipulator says, okay, this is the behavior that works to keep me in control. And so in order for you to be able to let go of some of these relationships and let go of some of the impact that they've had on you, you have to reclaim that power. You have to reclaim that control. And the way you do that is by setting healthy boundaries that are good for you and then being able to defend them. Okay? So that's the message for tonight. Don't fall prey to the manipulation. Recognize that you're being manipulated. Recognize what it looks like. But more importantly, decide, what do you want out of the relationship? Why isn't it working for you? And then you begin to move it in the direction that you want it to go. And that's how you avoid and you move away from the manipulation piece. You have to reclaim that power, reclaim that control. And that's the best way to do it, is through strong, healthy boundaries and a great relationship with reality. Reality-based living will save you from falling prey to manipulation. If you guys have any questions about reality-based living, interested in personal coaching, or just have some questions, my inbox is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and I look forward to hearing from you. And as always, thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate you all. Thank you for sharing the video if you've shared it out. And most of all, thanks for living life on Mars, guys. Talk to you soon. Have a good night.